So let's get started. Today, we are going to look at the third chapter and discuss about an important area on strategic management. Now, the global marketing decisions case study will have a question in task 2 on strategic options. It is a very popular question. Usually, task 2A attracts 20 marks and task 2B for GMD attracts another 20 marks. Or it can be 25 and 15 marks. Totally, you'll have 40 marks for task 2. So it is imperative that you do well in task 2 in order to pass or to get an A grade. You need to do really well in task 2. So please pay attention. Chapter 3 is on strategic management, and we will start looking at some of the theories that you are required to apply in task 2. So when you talk about strategy and comparative advantage, I will fail in my duties if I don't talk about Michael Porter, the Harvard professor, the guru of comparative advantage and comparative strategy. And we will look at his theory a little later. But let's start by looking at the definition of strategy. What is strategy? Now, according to one of the highest selling authors in the planet on strategy, that is Johnson and Scholes, in their book, Exploring Strategy, it's called Exploring Strategy now, not Exploring Corporate Strategy. They define strategy, this word that comes from the military, upaya, upakrama, that's what we call it in Sinhalese, upaya, upakrama. So this word strategy is defined as the direction. The direction means the long-term direction, which is spelled out by your strategic intent or your vision, mission, and values. Your strategic intent or your vision, mission, and values. The long-term direction and scope of an organization. Scope means how many SBUs? That's the scope. What are the number of SBUs? The long-term direction and scope of the organization over the long term. Long term, here authors talk about 5-year, 10-year horizons. Strategy is about the long term. Strategy is about how many SBUs or the scope of an organization. Strategy is about the direction, the vision, mission, values, the strategic intent. And strategy also helps the organization achieve a competitive advantage. Tarangakaritve vasyak. You need to have an advantage. What is your advantage over your rivals? Something that we all must ask ourselves in the world of business. What is my advantage? What is my advantage over the rivals? Competitive advantage. For the organization through the configuration of resources. Now, even as you look at this definition, you must ask yourself, do I have a strategy personally? Does my organization have a strategy? Do my products, brands have strategies? Do we as a country have a strategy? And even as you investigate all those avenues to develop strategy, you need to go into each of these terms. How do I find the optimum configuration of resources? Sampath. Resources means sampath. You have human resources, financial resources, tangible physical resources, and intangible resources. How do I find the best or the optimum configuration of these resources in a challenging micro and macro environment. To meet the needs of markets, that is segmenting, targeting, positioning, and to fulfill stakeholder expectations. Stakeholders are internal stakeholders, connected stakeholders, and external stakeholders. So you need to know this definition ideally and recall it in the boardroom. You're doing an assignment, so you don't need to study it for an exam. However, it might be good for you to know the definition of strategy, because you can include some of these key terms when you're in the boardroom, when there is a strategy planning session. And there are different other authors who have come out with definitions. There's Chandler, Michael Porter, Henry Mintzberg, Peter Drucker, and Johnson and Scholes, and many other authors who have defined strategy. And since we are doing an assignment, if we do have a question, we have to learn how to Harvard reference multiple authors and to talk about a critical evaluation of how different authors view strategy. So we will do a Harvard referencing session a little later. And it's important that you know how to reference different authors in your assignment. Now, if you look at the World Prize winning assignments, I've shared with you 5 World Prize winning assignments. Incidentally, I also told you we won the Sri Lankan prize as well, this time at the graduation floor, for global marketing decisions for the case study. So we won both the World Prize and the Sri Lankan prize for the case study. And sort of one reason as to how the examiner will judge your answer is to see how good your academic writing is. And that is where when I read your final assignment, I'm going to add a lot of value. Maybe criticize your assignment so much that you go back and come out with a fantastic piece of work. Now, when is the case study out? The case study will be out on the 17th of April. Please diarize it. Just after the New Year. So happy New Year now itself. Happy New Year. As soon as you eat kiribat and finish, you have to start crunching with me around 20 to 25 pages of case material, and let's enjoy. So your assignment will be out probably a week later, but your case study will be out to you on the 17th of April. So you have 17th April, 17th May, 17th June, round about 17th to 20th June. So you have 2 months to read the case study with me, analyze the case study, and write an answer to task 1, 2, 3, which I'm going to guide you. Don't worry. We are going to help you. We are going to guide you. And I'm going to do some analysis for you, which I'm not supposed to do, by the way. But I'm going to do it because that's how Sri Lankans study, right? If I ask you to do it, you're not going to do it on your own. It's a problem with our education system. So don't worry. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you. But the problem is you can't, when I give you my work, you cannot cut and paste my own work, because that will include collusion and plagiarism, because there'll be others who will also do that. And then if 2 of your answers have the same paragraph, both of you will fail. So you need to be able to look at something and benchmark it and do your own thing. That's very important. That's very critical. And when we talk about strategy, this is one of my favorite books, Exploring Strategy. Authors Johnson and Scholes, we looked at their definition. Talk about 3 components of strategy. They talk about 3 components of strategy. The first component is strategic analysis. So when you analyze, you look at the current position. We also call this a situational analysis or a SWOT analysis. You will do a detailed SWOT analysis. You will do key issues. You will do critical success factors. Key issues, critical success factors, SWOT analysis. You'll do environmental analysis. Environmental analysis, which will involve macro, micro, industry, and internal analysis. Right? So you'll analyze using most of these tools, the internal environment, the culture, the resources, the industry, microenvironment, Porter's 5 forces, stakeholders, macro environment, which means your pest factors. So you'll do a comprehensive analysis using these tools in the 6-page strategic audit. 6-page strategic audit. That's the first thing you and I will do when you get the case study. You have to analyze. But let me tell you guys something. One of the biggest challenges, guys, some of you end up reading the case study over and over again. So I'll give you some techniques that will help you really focus and finish your 6-page analysis in maximum 10 days. I'll help you with that. Don't worry. So these theories we've done, SWOT analysis, stakeholder analysis, macro, micro, very simple theories. Don't worry. And if you want to benchmark, some of you have practiced it with the previous case study, the Lewi's answer. I have given you some homework. So if you have just started class, you can watch the videos from the beginning and practice using previous case studies. And when you do that, you will see that it's intellectually stimulating. It's nice. It's really nice to have a company solve the problem, understand the current situation, do some number crunching, do some analysis using these tools. Enjoy the process. Right? Then we have the second step, which is task 2, which is to generate strategic options. Now, this is a consultant's job. Strategy analysis is also a consultant's job. Generating strategic options based on the strategic analysis is also a consultant's job. So you are doing a consultant's job. That is your role. You are a marketing consultant. That is your role. You are a marketing consultant. So we don't know the company. It's a big company. You're going to get a big company. All the companies that we have been getting in the recent past are over 100 years old. 100 years old. And how do you generate strategic options? And that's what we are going to learn in chapter 3 and chapter 4. What are your business strategies? What's your corporate strategy? What is your internationalization strategy? Right? What is your growth strategy, acquisition, strategic alliances, joint ventures? What is your entrepreneurship strategy? And after you generate sufficient strategic options, now comes implementation. How do you implement the strategy? And that is to do with how you mobilize your resources. How do you set KPIs? How do you revamp your processes? How do you keep a track on project management? Restructure the organization, leadership and change management, and evaluating the execution of the strategy. So you can see, put together, these are three different skills. Some managers are really good in analysis. Some managers are really good in planning. Some others are not good in either. They are really good in execution. Very rarely you would find someone good in all three. Analysis, planning, implementation, and control. Put together, we call that a framework. It's called the APIC framework. I think you have learned that in level 4 or 6. This is the 4 stages of marketing planning: analysis, planning, implementation, and control. We also have a framework called the SOSTAC framework by P.R. Smith, that talks about marketing planning. Right? So this is the framework of Johnson and Scholes in their book, Exploring Strategy, that talks about the 3 stages of strategy. Then you have 3 levels of strategy, guys. So now, many of you are probably, when you go to work every day, busy in the boardroom or in your cubicles or in your desk, discussing either operational strategy or business level strategy. Some of you might be busy looking at corporate plans, the overall direction of the organization. That is, if you are in C-suite, right? If you are in the main leadership team, if you are the CEO, general management, board of directors, that level talk about corporate level strategy. That is to do with the entire entity. But inside the entity, you have different SBUs, strategic business units. Can be products, can be segments, different verticals. Those are strategic business units, SBUs. And most often in that SBU level, we look at how to penetrate the market, how to grow market share, how to differentiate, how to be a cost leader, basically how to grow business. Here at corporate level, we look at the overall direction and scope, setting the vision. How many SBUs? How are the SBUs formed? How do you arrange funding for the different SBUs? Allocation of capital. Which SBUs do you milk, harvest, divest? Which needs help, support? How do you leverage the synergy? So that is a corporate level, board level, C-suite level decisions. How do you add value to business units? How to add value to business units? And then operational level strategy deals with all the other functions: HR, finance, the operations unit, if you're a manufacturing organization, IT. These are operational level strategies. To operationalize the business strategy, you need the support functions. Some companies will not only have IT, operations, HR, and finance, they will have audit, they will have distribution, they will have call centers, other departments, risk management, all that. Right? So the 3 levels of strategy. And then we go into the 3 types of strategies. 3 types of strategies. So in terms of the 3 types of strategies, in GMD, we classify 3 broad types. We call them what we call strategic business unit strategies, SBU strategies. Another term is competitive strategies. So competitive strategy, the author who introduces competitive strategy is a guy called Michael Porter. So he has the Porter's generic strategies. Porter's generic strategies. So the generic strategies talk about how to compete, how to achieve a competitive advantage. That's the first type of strategy. SBU strategies, another word is competitive strategy. Denoted by Porter's generic strategies. It's another theory called strategic clock. And then you have questions such as how to compete and how to achieve a competitive advantage. And the second type of strategy, school, is called product market strategies. What are the products you're going to introduce? What are the markets you're going to be in? So if SBU strategies talk about how each SBU should compete, how should each SBU compete? If SBU strategies talk about how each SBU must compete, product market strategies will talk about where, in which products, and in which markets should we be in. I hope it's clear. So SBU strategies are how to compete. Product market strategies are where to compete. In which products, in which markets. And that is denoted by a theory called Ansoffs matrix. Ansoffs matrix. There are 4 strategic options. We will look at that. And then you have what we call institutional strategies, which is chapter 4. In institutional strategies, we look at long-term strategies for the entire organization to pursue, such as strategic alliances, mergers and acquisitions, joint ventures, licensing and franchising. So very rarely would you spend a lot of time here when you go to work every day. Correct? You spend a lot of time here. Middle management, junior managers, operational executives, marketing managers spend a lot of time here deciding which products, which markets should we operate in, and how should we compete. Should we be the cost leader? Should we differentiate? If so, what are the points of differentiation? But institutional strategies are, can we buy a competitor? Acquisitions. Whom can we merge with? Whom can we have a strategic alliance with? How can we have a joint venture with someone? Can we license and franchise and grow really fast? So these are fairly senior board level C-suite decisions. I mean, imagine you going to a marketing meeting tomorrow and telling your boss, shall we buy over this competitor? You will never do that, right? Because that is reserved for a boardroom discussion. But you will talk about what new products to launch, how to segment the market, what are the new emerging markets? Should we reduce price and be a cost leader? Should we differentiate by this new value proposition? Introduce a feature, introduce a new benefit. So those are within the first and the second type of strategies. But I must tell you, consultants look at most of their energy is spent on the third type, institutional strategies. So usually, the first two types usually will give you what we call organic growth. What is organic growth? Organic growth is this: year on year nominal growth. 5%, 4%, 5%, 6%, 4%, 5%, 5%, like that. Organic growth. This is organic growth. But institutional strategies focus more on inorganic growth. Inorganic growth. What is inorganic growth? Inorganic growth is this. How do you make a huge jump in growth? Make a huge jump in growth. This is inorganic growth. Right? Now, even if you look at our economy as a country, we are growing. We didn't grow for a few years. Now we are growing again. Last year's GDP is about 5.5. But that's good from where we were. But if we are to come out of our mess that we are in, we need to have double-digit growth for at least 3 years continuously for us to catch up to where we were. So at least 10%, 11% growth for 3 years, we can catch up to where we were. If you speak to any economist, they'll tell you that. And we are in such deep debt that only growth, significant growth, disproportionate growth, inorganic growth, big growth, jumps in GDP for a few consecutive years can help us pay back our loans. I'm even scared to ask you whether you know how much we owe, what our loans are, because I'm sure you don't know. So much so that if we just organically grow, even until I die, this country will still be in deep debt. That's how bad we are. If we organically grow, even for the next 30, 40 years, we will still be in deep debt. That's how bad our debt is. So you need to understand, even in an organization, this is good, but they hire you as a consultant, not for this. They hire you as a consultant to tell them how to do this, how to achieve disproportionate growth. Because they know this. They are probably doing this already. They don't need a consultant. Organic growth. They're doing it well. In many cases, the case studies that you get are market leaders. And it's very difficult to consult a market leader than to consult a non-leader. So if you get a good brand like Google or Apple, it's going to be very difficult for you to write answers because there's very little bad that you can say about them. But it's good that you get a contender brand, second, third, fourth, or even someone who has low market share and a lot of problems, because you can write a lot of recommendations to fix the problems. I hope it is clear. So I've been talking quite a bit. Can you give me a thumbs up or say yes or no if you've understood everything that I've said so far? Can you please type? Can you please type? Okay, good. Let's move forward. Now we start by understanding one of the first strategy tools, Ansoffs matrix. Now, Ansoff says that there are 4 strategic options: market penetration, market development, product development, and diversification. And market penetration, as you can see, is to stay within the existing markets with the existing products. Stay within the existing market with the existing product. So can you please type now? Can you please type? Let's say you have been appointed head of marketing at Cambridge College. Okay. You know what we do at Cambridge College? You know what we do at Cambridge. We teach CIM, MBA, degrees, MScs, DBAs, PhDs. Those are the courses we do. Those are the courses we do. Now, can you please type? Let's say tomorrow you have been appointed as the marketing manager of Cambridge College. Right? You are the marketing manager of Cambridge College. Now, board of directors have asked you, how can you increase sales or revenue through market penetration for Cambridge College? I want you to type some answers. That means board of directors have asked you for your ideas, how to stay within the existing market. So marketing, business, that market with existing products. But what are the ideas, initiatives you will do to increase sales? So don't talk about new markets, new products. Stay within the existing market with the existing product and give me ideas to increase sales. Can you please type? Can you please type? How will you stay within the existing market with the existing products that we have? What is it that you will do to increase sales? Can you please type? Can you please type? I want all of you to type. Otherwise, you are not going to learn. Staying within the existing market with the existing products, and you want to grow sales. How to penetrate? What are the initiatives you'll do? Can you please type? What can you do? Can you please type? Others, can you please type as well? Can all of you give me an idea? Remember, now you are appointed marketing manager. Give me some ideas for market penetration. Yes, very good. Yes, Suranjit, very good. Increase promotions, increase advertising, very good. That is a market penetration strategy. You stay within the existing market, existing products, but you create more share of voice, create more awareness through advertising. Nirmani, very good. Discounts, that means you will offers that will encourage more people to buy. Raveen, better customer support, qualified and renowned panel. Okay, yes, of course, you will penetrate the market with that. Rakit, early bird semester offers. My God, Rakit. Okay, good. Very good. Right, Rakit, විකුණයි වගේ business එකක් නේ. Good. Ashcharya, discounts and offers. Okay, very good. Narada, advertising, sales promotions, discounts. Lakshita, good. Metme, pricing options, pricing policy, pricing strategies. Sakidu, discounts, advertising and promotion activities. BOGOF idea, okay. Advertise existing products through social media, create more awareness. Darshan, advertising. Hashim, promotions. Chamini, campaigns, sponsorships. Vindhya, discounts, offers. Sandhya, brand image, okay, again through advertising. Innovation, Sandhya, is not market penetration, okay? That's product development. So that's wrong. Innovation is wrong. Advertising, okay, good. Campaigns, Lowest price, advertising, okay. Loyalty program, very good. So, Shohan, very good. It's a good idea. Loyalty program, right? Customer retention, Dulanga, increased footfall. Shohan, very good. Bundled offers, very good. Very good. Ronali, alumni referral schemes, good. So can you see? Good ideas. My God, I will hire some of you. Good. Let's see, okay, when we go to the other strategic options, whether I'll still hire you. Provide awareness, value-added solutions, limited time discounts, upselling, cross-selling. Very good. Payment plans, trial products, Chanit, very good. Piggybacking, yes, very good. Roshan, wrong. Add-on courses is product development. That's wrong. That's wrong. Roshan, wrong. So you have to clearly understand the strategy. Penetration, existing market, existing products, Roshan. Binushi, collaborate. Okay. Right, good. Right, very good. Now, same head. Board of directors now come and say, can you give us some ideas for market development? That's the second strategy. What is market development? Market development means you stay within the existing market. You stay within the existing products and you go into new markets. You stay within the existing products and you go into new markets. That means you offer the degrees of the business marketing thing, but you go into new markets. Can you please type some ideas? What are the new markets we can go into? How can we practice market development? Can you please type? Can you please type? What are the market development ideas? Can you please type? So remember, you are the marketing manager. You have been asked this question. What are the new markets we can go with our existing products? Existing products, new markets. So don't talk about product development. We have to talk about market development. Market development. Right? Let me enter new geographic areas. Yeah, good. Setumi, geographic expansion, new branches. Raveen, very good. Marketing for school children, very good. Suranjit, huge discounts, wrong. Huge discounts, wrong. That means you are not understood. Huge discounts is market penetration, Suranjit, wrong. Viraj, advertising, wrong. Wrong. That means you are not understood market development. Advertising is market penetration, Viraj, wrong. Promote the next available program for existing students. Yeah, so what is the program? That's what I need to know. Right? Next available program. You can't talk in abstract terms. You have to be very specific. Enter into new geographic areas. Good. Increasing branches with existing products. Good. Enter new market segments. Akash, that's what I'm asking. What are the segments? So you are telling me do this, but you're not being specific. What are the segments? I hope it's clear. That's where creativity comes. You can't be very broad. You have to be granular. Gayatri, promoting the same products to different audiences. Yes, I know. My question is, what are the audiences? You're still skimming. You need to be very granular. Giving discounts to accountants. Discounting is wrong. That's market penetration. But going into CIMA can be, going into other professional, other business segments other business segments like accounting, operations, project management, looking at those areas can be market development. Sanjeev, collaborate with foreign universities for more overseas reach. Yes. Customize marketing message to resonate with cultural, economic, and social aspects. Yeah, Akila is very philosophical, your answer. I'm looking for very specific answers. Your answer is very philosophical. Right? I'm looking for very specific. Now, there was an idea, go into the school children and launch your products to CIM to be delivered for A-level, O-level students. So that you're being very specific there. That's a market. Promotion and incentives wrong. That is market penetration. Advertising wrong. That is market penetration. Ronali, partner with professional training institutes. Good. Chambers of commerce. Good. Good. Free sample experience wrong, Suranjit. That is market penetration. That's market penetration. So some of you are getting market development wrong. You're getting wrong. Don't mix market penetration with market development. Two different things. You have to be very clear on market development strategy. Target new customer segments. Yes, correct with me. I am asking what are the segments? New channels. Pradeep, yes, I am asking what are the channels? Roshan, creating career pathways, educating high school leavers. Good. Abdul, launching new branches. Good. South Asian, Maldives, Bangladesh. Good. Use new distribution channels. What? You have to be very specific. Otherwise, those are not a good way to answer. Now, see now, the student is saying launch new branches in South Asian countries, Maldives, Bangladesh. That is being very granular and specific. Otherwise, you're in distribution channels. That's not specific. Demarcation and targeting of new channels. Yes, what? Finding new customers. Yes, who? So, can you see your answers are not very, very clear, except for few. Others have not understood what market development is. Collaborate with companies. Good. So, corporates. You can teach CIM, whatever programs in companies, corporate sector. Strategic partnerships with whom you have to tell. Otherwise, it's not correct. Provide exclusive discounts. Wrong, Darshan. The word discounts, when you say discounts, it becomes market penetration. Wrong. So school leavers is okay, but half of your answer is wrong. Target students planning migration position programs and internet. Okay, good. Good. AI marketing for boomer CEOs. Wrong. That's product development. Right? So you have to focus, you have to differentiate between market development and product development. Franchise model, okay, good. Market development. New channels, traditional market, okay, okay. International market, goods. Subscription services, good. Regional market, good. Internships, good. Yeah. Met me again your find new usage occasions. Now what are the occasions? You have to tell. Right? Otherwise, your answer is not, if you don't give an example, your answer is wrong. When you're a marketing manager, you can't, this is theory. You can't answer like this. This is theory. Then that means you are telling the CEO, you go and figure it out. I am giving you theory, you go and figure it out. You can't do that, Puta. You have to be very specific and get really granular and give how. Okay? University is okay. New pricing is wrong. Only penetration pricing is penetration, Puta. That's wrong. Not market development. Okay? Corporate, mice. Other professions, target other professions, good. How about the government sector? How about housewives? Professionals? Those are new markets. How about marketing and business in Sinhala, marketing and business in Tamil, marketing and business in Cantonese or Urdu? So those are different markets, different markets. I hope it is clear. You have to be very specific, right? Viraj. Yeah. Again, Viraj, you're taking market share from competitors in that field. That's not an answer. That is theory. I am asking for a specific answer. How? So with your answer, you must always ask how and what. If that is not spelled out in your answer, is a wrong answer. This is how you fail. This is how you fail. So the examiner is expecting how, what. You have to get really granular and explain. So product development is, if you see, there's a fine line between market development and product development, Johnny. Now, if you say you are going into the finance segment, then it becomes market development. But if you say I am launching CIMA, that is product development. I hope you got it. I hope you got it. Janit, is it clear? So there's a fine line between market development and product development. Did you
Yeah,
get that?
yeah. My question was on having in other languages, would it fall
Yes.
under development or market development?
It will be more of market development. But if you say I am going to launch a course, right? And name the course something, then it becomes product development. That's why it's a fine line. Because languages can also be markets. Because if you're going to China, then that's a market. Right? So there is a fine line between that product development and market development. Right? Because markets can also be seen as segments. And obviously, when you go to the segment, usually you will go with the product. So there is a fine line between them. Right? So don't worry about specifics there, but usually it's how you term it. It's how you term it, how you word it. Simple example I can give you is, the most simple example I can give you is, if I'm going to the finance segment, if you term it like that, then it's market development. But if I'm launching CIMA as a new solution, then that is product development. Okay. Right. So product development, can you please type some ideas here? What are the new products? So product development strategy is existing products. Sorry, existing markets, new products. Can you please type some new products we can launch? So one is CIMA. What are the other new products we can launch? Can you please type? Can you please type? Yes, AI marketing, digital analytics. Diploma, you're already doing diploma. I am talking new. MBA we have. Entertainment management, CFA. Abdul, teacher training courses, you're going into a segment and a market. So a segment and a product, right? So you have to be very specific. Teacher training degrees, then it becomes product, right? Or what we call education management degrees, then it's a product. Okay, then it's a product. So you have to term it carefully. You have to term it carefully. Otherwise, you make it market development and product development. Right? Education management degrees can be product development. Data, okay, good. Leadership courses, good. Good. Bundle offers is more of a market penetration, Lakshita, right? Bundle course offers is market penetration. This is new products. Product innovation relaunch is not an answer. Okay, that's a very philosophical answer. Community program is also not really product development. Okay, community program is not really a product. Sales and distribution diploma. Okay, data analytics, yes, definite product. Digital marketing courses we already have. Personal branding program. So new products that we can launch, yeah, so many, like we can be project management related degrees. We can launch finance related CIMA, AAT, accounting, chartered, all those things. We can launch an English product for the business community. English product we don't have. IELTS, Pearson, all those things. So those are product development, right? HR, yes, HR, right? IT, ICT, all those things. Right, good. Now diversification. Now diversification, guys, I'm going to explain a little bit about diversification to you. Okay. Let me explain a little bit of diversification to you. Right. So before that, these are the sub strategies. These are the sub strategies. So when it comes to market penetration, this is from my book, by the way. So you can read up chapter 2 in my book, Marketing and Business Strategy. How do you increase the usage rate of existing customers? Strategies to win customers from competitors, switch them. There's so many things you can do. Market penetration, convert non-users or lapsed users into users. Then you have market development, go into new segments, new distribution channels, new geographic areas. Product development, product modification via new features and users, different size and quality variations, and completely new products. So Apple does this in all areas. And diversification, I want to focus on diversification. So when we talk about diversification, guys, there are two broad types of diversification. So you have related diversification, also called concentric diversification, and unrelated diversification called conglomerate diversification. Right? So now I'll give you a simple example, although these are big words. Diversify means you go into new products in new markets. So for CCBM, for Cambridge College, for example, if we want to launch a hotel in Kandy, right? We're not going to call it Cambridge College Hotel or Cambridge Hotel. We'll call it some other name. Okay? Call it some other name, right? Louis Hideaway or something like that, right? So we are going into a new market with a new product, diversification. But that is unrelated diversification. Why? Because our core business is in education. Now we are going into hotels, hospitality. So that is completely unrelated diversification. I hope you got it. So related diversification for Cambridge College might be to go into a new market with a new product, but stay related to education. Example, if we go into student migration overseas, that is related diversification. Still, we have gone into a new product, new market, right? But that is still related to our education field. That's called related diversification. So unrelated diversification is extremely risky. Related diversification is less risky. Clear? Right? Now, if you take a brand like Apple, Apple is in related diversification. Right? If you take the Apple ecosystem, they are a technology brand, right? Software and hardware, technology brand. Right? So the day Apple launches a car, then it becomes unrelated diversification. Or if Apple launches a hotel chain or a restaurant, then it becomes unrelated diversification. Now, if you take a brand like Virgin, Virgin thrives on unrelated diversification. They have Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Galactic, Virgin credit cards, Virgin Holidays, Virgin Cola, right? Virgin Hotels, Virgin Restaurants, different industries, 200 such companies. That is completely unrelated diversification. Now, related diversification can go into two types: horizontal diversification and vertical diversification, also known as vertical integration. And vertical integration can be forward vertical and backward vertical. Right? Now, I'll give you an example to understand this. Horizontal and vertical, forward and backward. Now, let's assume you are a car manufacturer. Let's assume you are BMW. Right? Let's assume you are BMW. You are BMW. And let's say BMW starts manufacturing trucks. So you go into new strategic business units. You start manufacturing buses. So fairly diversified, still new strategic business units, but horizontal diversification, new strategic business units. Those are not products. Those are new SBUs, new strategic business units, right? So that is horizontal diversification. And then vertical diversification, which is this way, vertical is this way, horizontal is this way, has forward integration and backward integration. So backward integration for BMW is if you go behind and backward in your value chain and buy over one of your suppliers. That's why we call it backward integration. You can buy one of your suppliers. So example, if BMW goes and buys a component supplier, let's say a battery supplier, right? Or a car leather supplier. So that's called backward integration. Greatest example in Sri Lanka is Cargill's. Every month when they cut the check to their suppliers, they see whom they are paying the most. And then they go and buy a water company. They go and buy an ice cream factory. They go and buy a company that manufactures maybe tissue paper, right? Why? Because they feel that in their 500 outlets, so many people are buying. Why are we buying from someone else? Let's put our own label, own brand there. Right? So they have gone and bought so many such brands. That's called backward integration. And forward integration is when you go and buy a distributor. You go and buy a distributor. So example for BMW, you go and buy one of the biggest retailers. One of the biggest retailers. BMW goes and buys. Right? Like let's say Toyota. Toyota come and buy Indra Traders. Let's say Toyota goes and buys Indra Traders. Then that becomes forward integration. Or if Cargills go to some town and buy the biggest grocery there, and they buy the biggest grocery, right? So that is called forward integration, not backward integration. I hope it is clear, right? So diversification is also clear. Now, in terms of the risk appetite, guys, in the Ansoffs matrix, market penetration has the lowest risk. Double that risk is market development. Double that risk, it is product development. Quadruple that risk, is diversification. So whenever you are recommending strategic options, you need to understand the risk appetite. So you can't just say, let's go and diversify. You need to first penetrate as much as possible. And then when you feel your penetration strategies are slowing down, you go into market development. When you feel your strategies are going, sales are not working as much, you now go into product development. And usually many companies practice penetration, market development, product development quite a bit. And when the market starts saturating, and if you are a market leader, you then start looking at diversification. And to practice diversification, you need to have a very big risk appetite. You also need to have a lot of resources and core competencies. Otherwise, don't even think of diversification, related or unrelated. You need to have deep pockets, a lot of resources, and the ability to take a lot of risks. And for failure will be imminent when you diversify first. So sometimes you will lose your core business also. So you need to be very careful when you go there. Any questions? Any questions? Anything to clarify? Good, no questions? All right, so we'll stop class here. And next week we will learn a few more theories and finish chapter 3. Okay, good night. Please finish all the other subjects you are doing, because our case study will be out, like I told you, on the 17th of April. We have a lot of time. So let's pace it out, but make sure you look at all the videos from the beginning, maybe once, twice, or thrice, so that you are well acquainted with theory by the time the case study comes out. Okay, good night. I'll see you next week. Good night.